What's good everyone, it's Steve from Sneaker Tech Talk, back with another video today. For today's video, we will be taking a look at a versus video for the Jordan Luka 4 versus the Jordan Luka .77 performance review, comparing both of these models. I am very excited to talk about both of these shoes, so without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so right off the bat, I believe the Luka 4 runs for $130 American, $170 here in Canada, and I believe these guys right here, the Luka .77, his budget-friendly and outdoor model is $110 USD and $135 here in Canada, so it is a bit of a difference as far as the price point goes. But as always, starting off with the traction pattern. Now on the Jordan Luka 4, you are getting this herringbone traction pattern in this translucent rubber at the bottom. Now how this performs on clean floors is superb, but once it starts to collect dust, you do lose a lot of the traction on this model to the point where I did slide out a few times within this model, and if you're playing on a dirty floor, you will be wiping continuously because when dust does get clogged up within this outsole, it is problematic. But keep in mind, if you're on a clean floor and you're wiping every so often, you will be good to go. Now, as far as the traction pattern goes on the Luka .77, you are getting this multi-directional traction pattern right here with the translucent portion running through the middle. It does also wrap up on the medial side, and how this performs on indoor clean courts is superb. On dirty floors, it's also very nice. You will have to wipe every so often as some dust does get clogged up, especially in that translucent rubber, but other than that, this is a great option for clean and or dirty floors. They're both really nice as long as you're playing on clean floors, but if I had to pick one over the other for overall kind of durability and from what I enjoyed indoors thus far, I would have to give the slight edge to the budget-friendly model on the Luka .77 as far as the traction goes. As far as the cushioning goes on both of these models right here, on the Luka 4, this green portion is Cushlon 3.0, I believe. The gray portion is more of a firm Phylon to add some stability within this model, and the Cushlon does wrap the whole medial side right here. And then underneath the shoe, you do have a north to south zoom airbag. It is bottom loaded, so you don't get a ton of that sensation underfoot, but there is a zoom airbag in the forefoot. Now, as far as the cushioning goes on the Luka .77, you are getting a dual density kind of Phylon foam compound, which is very soft and really nice and springy, honestly, underfoot. And then you have that exact same zoom airbag in the forefoot, pretty much the exact same placement as well. I believe it's bottom loaded, so you're not getting a ton of that zoom air sensation, but you do get a little bit of snappiness in both models. The Phylon is definitely nice underfoot, but I will mention this will wear down quicker than the Cushlon, and the Cushlon is just a little bit more plush. I think for the price point that you're spending on this shoe, it is a great bang for your buck. But if I'm comparing both of these shoes kind of as far as the cushioning goes and what I enjoyed, the Luka 4 definitely takes the cake just slightly because the Cushlon is a bit more soft and just bouncy underfoot. But that's not to say that this shoe is a slouch, because honestly, I think you're getting a ton of value and performance even at the retail price of $110. As far as the fit goes with both of these models, right off the bat, with the Luka .77, you do have to go up half a size. Both of these are a US size 10.5. With these guys right here, my toe is literally bursting through the end of the shoe, like at the very end. So if you are a wide footer, I would go up half a size. Regular footers go up half a size, or just try these on in store. They definitely fit very snug towards the end, and keep in mind the toe box is very tapered right here at the top. There's really no extra volume, and it's more or less the exact same on the Luka 4. I just didn't find that they fit quite as short on the Luka 4. I can definitely get away with a 10.5 in these, but I think I am going to try on a size 11 just to see how it feels on foot, if it just kind of feels a little bit more relieved, because these were also very snug and the toe box is also very tapered. At the back of the shoe, you are getting a lot more padding here on the Luka 4 versus the .77s. The tongues are pretty much the same as far as the padding goes. This just feels a little bit more comfortable around your foot as far as the overall fit goes. But I think if I do go up half a size to a size 11, I will achieve more or less the same fit on the Luka 4s. But if I had to give the slight edge to one shoe over the other, I would have to say the fit on the Luka 4s is just a little bit more secure and nice. As far as the materials go on both of these models right here, with the Luka 4, you're kind of getting mesh and synthetics running throughout, a little bit of like this knit material at the toe box, but overall it's a pretty cheap setup. This stuff here kind of feels like a really short-haired nubuck, and then you have patent leather here and on the tongue. More or less, it's a pretty cheap setup, especially for that $130 price point in the US, $170 here in Canada. You're really getting nothing special, but it does break in pretty quickly, and it is pretty breathable. Now, on the Luka .77s, you are getting a synthetic nubuck here around the eye stay down to the toe and at the top of the tongue, so you are getting some more premium feeling materials. Everything else is kind of a really cheap mesh with these fuse rands running throughout, so you're not getting anything premium. But I actually enjoy the materials on this shoe more than the Luka 4s because I just really like that raw kind of feeling here at the toe box and at the back. I know it's nothing special, but you're also paying a cheaper price point for these guys compared to these, and I think these are going to go on sale and drop pretty low. This colorway has more or less sold out in Canada, but I do like the materials a little bit better on this model right here compared to his fourth signature shoe. As far as the support goes, I'm going to say it right off the bat, it's more or less a tie. With both shoes, you are getting an internal heel counter at the back of the shoes, and they both have the ISO plate here on the lateral side that does run underneath the shoe on the 4s, and the same goes with the ISO plate here near the toe box, running underneath and at the bottom. So it's more or less the exact same setup. They kind of both have a wide and stable base, maybe a little bit wider here on the Luka 4, but both of these shoes feel very secure for positions 1 through 5. I don't think you're going to have an issue as far as the support goes on either of these models. If I had to say that I liked one like ultra slightly better than the other, I would have to say I like the placement of the ISO plate on this one just a little bit more, wrapping up near the toe, because when you make those hard lateral cuts, I just felt like it was a little bit more secure here at the toe box compared to his fourth signature shoe, but that is a preference for me. Both of these shoes are very secure on foot. As far as the weight goes for both of these shoes, again, both of these shoes are a US 10.5 for the Luka .77. They come in at 12.5 ounces, and for the Luka 4s, they come in at 13.3, so the 0.77.8 ounces lighter. So I would have to say that this shoe definitely feels lighter in hand and on foot, and that's not to say that this shoe is heavy, but as far as the weight goes, this one definitely takes the cake as far as having a more lightweight nature on foot. So that's going to do it for today's Versus performance review on both of Luka's new basketball shoes, his 4s and his .77s. Aesthetically, I think they're both very nice. I will say that the 4s here are definitely his best signature shoe to date. I think looks-wise, performance-wise, and tech, it's definitely his best shoe to date. But honestly, if I had to pick one shoe over the other, with the price point and the overall performance, I would have to say I'm definitely picking this one right here. That might surprise some people, but I think the cushioning is adequate. The traction is just a little bit better in my opinion, and I really love the implementation of the ISO plate and materials on this shoe. So again, this shoe does run for a little bit cheaper than his signature shoe with the 4s, and I think whether you play indoors or outdoors, you will be good to go with this model right here because it is tailored towards that outdoor use. The rubber compound is a little bit more firm as well, so I really enjoy this shoe. I love this colorway with the black, the pink, and the white running throughout. But sound off in the comments what you prefer between both of his current new basketball shoes. Like I said, that's going to do it for today's performance review on both of these models. Sound off in the comments what you guys think of both of them, and if you had to pick one over the other, which one would you be going with? I like both of them. I think they're both very nice performing basketball shoes. I just think his budget-friendly model offers just a little bit more tailored towards my playstyle. But sound off in the comments, and as always, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, that would definitely help the channel a ton. And check out my Instagram over at Sneaker Tech Talk, as it is an extension of my YouTube channel with all my pickups, basketball footage, and nostalgia as a whole. As always, thanks for watching today's video, and until next time, peace.